Welcome to part 17, in our tutorial series on how to develop a Contras-like game, with free visual game engine Gdevelop. In this video, we're going to keep adjusting the gameplay and start fixing some of the bugs that we are still having in the game, which have been reported by some of the people trying to keep up with the tutorial. Closing a fun video game is one of the most difficult tasks that you can find in the industry, and this process that we are starting will probably be taking us 2 or 3 videos just to reach a point where we have a fun and free from bugs software. At that point, we will be able to start thinking about what next toward expanding into new levels or to export into different platforms. Let's jump into the action. One of the problems that we have, and that we have found when implementing the game, is that either the enemies take too long to start approaching us, or they are too few, or sometimes they are just spawned when we are right on top of the spawn point, which can give a very strange feeling. So, let's address those points first. For that, let's go to the enemy's external sheet. Look for the spawn events group. We can see that the spawn point will only start generating enemies when the player is less than 1000 pixels away. This means, on the same screen. That is not what we want, so, let's change it. Double-click to open the condition. Click on the invert condition. We are telling the game not to spawn an enemy when the player is less than 1000 pixels away. Now, let's duplicate the condition and double-click to edit. Let's remove the invert of the condition, and in the distances field, set it to 3000. This will make the spawn point start generating enemies when the player is 3000 pixels away from the spawn point. Let's save and run the game. The enemies are taking too much time to appear, but we can see that now, they are not spawning when we are near the spawn point. Before adjusting it, let's fix the position of the camera scroll. The level is rendered quite high in the camera view, and the shake screen has a strange behavior. Let's go to the game main event sheet. At the beginning of the event sheet, we have the set of events that are managing the scrolling. Let's click on the event that manages the Y position of the game layer. At the end of the position, subtract 400 from the calculation. This should set the layer to be lower in the camera view. Let's repeat the action for all Y position of the remaining layers, but carefully, as the other layers have a different formula to calculate the new position. We have first to put between brackets that calculation of the new position, subtract 400 from it, and only then multiply by the differential layer speed. Once done, save and run. Okay, everything seems to have been lowered down, and when we jump, the trees are no longer hanging in the air. But we can see that the screen shake is doing some wrong effects. Let's fix it with the same calculation. Close the game and go back to the events. Look for the group of events associated with the screen shake. In the event where we are adjusting the Y position, subtract again 400. Let's run again. And the screen shake is now working correctly. Let's continue fixing the enemy spawning. Let's go to the scene view. Select in the object pane the spawn enemy object and right-click or click on the three dots to the left to open the edit menu. Click on the option Edit Object Variables. Change the max spawn variable initial value to 10. This will get us 10 enemies. We will be able to fine-tune once we have all the problems fixed. Close and in the scene view, let's reposition some of the turn objects to make sure that the enemies are moving correctly between the 2 points, and are not getting blocked in the middle. Let's go back to the enemy's external event sheet. Let's decrease the spawn time between spawns to 3 and let's increase the distance to spawn to 5,000. Let's run the game. Cannot be sure if the spawner is generating more enemies. Let's increase the distance to 10,000 pixels in the spawn enemies condition. Let's run again. Still not that many enemies. Let's decrease the time to 1 and in the scene view. Let's move the turn right object to be more toward the beginning of the level. Let's run the game. Well, apparently, it is working. Loot at this military parade of enemies. Let's improve it by randomizing the time between spawns. For that, in the spawn condition, let's replace the spawn time with a random range function between 1 and 3 seconds. Let's run the game. And Right, the enemies are now appearing in the different ranges of time. But, when you kill one, it seems that you kill all of them. This is the reason why we were not seeing such a limited number of enemies. What is happening, is that when we are killing one enemy, all the sprites are being deleted. To solve that, we need to perform the action only for the linked elements sprite and physic. So, in the condition of the spawn, let's add an OR. This will allow us to add all the sprites that we want to check against the corresponding physic enemy block. Now for the subconditions, in the search condition box type link. Select the link between two objects conditions. In the first field select the enemy sprite and in the second the physic enemy. Add a new subcondition with a new link between enemy 2 sprite and physic enemy. Let's run the game. The enemies are coming with different timings between each element, and, when we fire, we are only destroying one at a time. Great! But we have a new problem that is affecting the gameplay. They are not a challenge as they take a lot of time to fire when they discover us. Let's try to fix 2. The problem that we are having is basically the same as the previous situation, where we are not taking into account all the instances of the enemy. So, let's add a new condition. Right-click on any of the conditions, then select Other and then the action for each. Click on the condition and select the physic enemy object. Drag to the right all the events, as to make them sub-events of the for each condition. Now, in each of the conditions where we are actually instancing the bullets for the 2 types of enemies, let's add a new condition with the link objects condition. For enemy type 0, we will check the link between the enemy sprite and the physic enemy, and for the other enemies, we will check the link between enemy 2 sprite and physic enemy. Let's run the game. And there it is as soon as we are seeing the enemies fire at us. Since we have instanced a lot of them, we are facing a wall of bullets, but we will be addressing it over the course of the next videos. In the next episode, we will especially keep on adjusting the game and fixing the bugs as we progress one step more to being able to export and close the game. We hope that you have liked this video. If it has been the case, consider subscribing, giving a like, and clicking on the notification button. If you have any questions, problems, or comments, don't hesitate in putting a comment and we will answer as fast as we could. See you in the next video, game developers.